Let me get a little bit about who I am real quick. I have had an interesting career. I joined the Podio platform somewhere in 2010. At the time, I was working for this company, Telecorp and Wexler Video. We rented television equipment to every reality TV show you can probably name. I know more about those things than I would like to admit. Um, I left there. I joined Sony Electronics as a product marketing manager. I launched their F65 8K camera platform for a couple of years there, and I went back into rentals. And all along here, I was using Podio. I'd actually, at Wexler, I'd been using it. I'd been using a PB&J wiki, which then went, and somewhere in there they introduced me to Podio as a replacement, and I was using it as an internal information source. When I joined Sony, I used it as a project management tool. Again, at Claire Broadcast, I used it as a tool, and then as you can see, in 2015, as I literally podioed my way out of that general manager's job for Claire. I made it so nicely that the Pennsylvania home office decided that they could eliminate my cost because they could now supervise the West Coast operation quite cleanly by looking at it in Podio. Not to mention they now had a global CRM I had created. Anyway, so I went on to making things for entertainment industry and for other people, and became a partner, and have been doing so ever since. Today I'm going to show just a few things. They're not all that spectacular. I'm just showing you sort of some of the things that I bring to bear. I think the first and foremost thing is to remember that as much as this all is about technology, workflow is everything. So I am going to show this little bit of a workflow that I did for myself, for the Boy Scouts of America here in Los Angeles. As COVID hit, they could no longer process physical paperwork for Eagle candidates. There's a lot of paperwork when you become an Eagle Scout. Literally, they were thinking that they were going to have to not process anything for a while, and I digitized the whole process for them, and redid the whole map. I think Seth had said earlier, and I agree, that you really can't do this unless you become an expert in what is going on. This was easy for me, having done a lot of it. It was easy for me to rebuild their flow. And I'm going to actually show you a little bit of that in how this works. Standard Podio workspace. Here we have an Eagle candidate, relationship to his troop, so that we can see every scout from every troop. We did add into this, and this is where it got really cool, and they were blown away, is that each scout has a basic web link to his own candidates portal, which of course will take a moment to load, because on a demo nothing goes smoothly.
It never does. It really never does.
It does. It's like I had a long career in television, and we used to have a saying: don't work with babies, don't work with pets, and don't work with computers when doing live TV.
Yeah.
All right. So here is Joshua's information. He's actually managed to go through the whole process at this point, but early on, we need information from them. Volunteers were having to spend a lot of time re-entering information. We basically made it so that the scout can now go to this link. He can update his own information. He can tell us who he's supplying for the board of review. He can upload files. He can review files that have been uploaded. Nowadays, I don't have to worry when the scout says, oh, can I get a copy of my signed off Eagle certificate? He just comes in here and finds the right signature document, and there he has it. So they have access to everything. This system is powered, and you'll see that it has a lot of automation to try to create and make the workflow simpler for the people who are using it. So it comes in. I notify some people that they need to do their approvals. So you can see me having GlobeMail is another big factor. I'm a big fan. ProcFu, mini apps, GlobeFlow, these are the things that I'm actually, working with clients. Smartphone, these are the things that I have on board with clients almost every time. Here you can see that at a point I said, okay, we've gotten them to everything, request the board members, and this pre-canned email goes out to the scout, his scoutmaster. If you're familiar with the Boy Scouts of America, we have this thing called youth protection, so there has to be 2 people, 2 adults on any email to a scout. This allows us to have that, and even if I slip up, it's in view of other people in this workspace, so there is no private one-to-one contact, which was a big selling point for this particular implementation. I want to show that so the email that you just saw, it's teed up here in GlobeMail using a GlobeMail template. The content is if you haven't seen one of these before, a basic merge form. Some of these are standard tags that are being put in, are coming from the app, and a couple of them are actually ones where I've created specific merge tags, which I will then fill in from the flow. Once this fires off, and you can see, if you haven't already played with one of these, you'll see that the settings actually give you an API key, and you can use it. If you have the plugin for GlobeMail, this becomes very simple for someone to execute. And if I say, where is that one? EagleBoard info request, I believe this is the one. So the nice thing here is that I just fill in all the different tokens that I need to fill in, and the email goes out, and it comes out right every time. This is of specific advantage because later in this particular process, when we're actually doing the board review, the truth is that Joshua was reviewed by Trent's team, and Trent's team was reviewed by Joshua's team, and I actually literally have to cross up the information so that I'm informing everyone on Trent's team about Joshua and everyone on Joshua's team about Trent, and giving them access to different files and different tokens. So this plays very nicely. It's all automated. It works through on its own. As you can see here, they filled in the information. There was some more email back and forth, and then ultimately we sent out emails, further emails with tokens, all the instructions. If I had to do this manually, it would have just not been possible. So this is a good example of a workflow that just plays out nicely. We even have a different token down here so that when it comes time for the person working on the board of review, I don't want them to see a bunch of other information. So in this case, they get a review portion that just has the scout's name that they're reviewing and the files to download. So we don't give them any other information, and it's a really great example of limiting views to the end users. I leverage the fact that there's a link. Security is by obscurity here. If you don't have the right link password, you just don't have access. And that is sufficient within this context for what we're doing. Another tool I wanted to point out, I know I'm getting short on time, is I've been playing with this webhook site. If you haven't played with it, it's a great tool if you're playing with webhooks. I had an ongoing issue with this particular client. We were looking for incidents where we were getting an error, so I just dropped a webhook in there and said, when this condition occurs, if this error occurs, shoot me a webhook, show me what information was there when things went. Again, this is a great way of tracking things. Another client I'm just going to go into briefly. I have this client, Air Pets America. This is an interesting case of a sort of different workflow. This is a sales workflow, but in this case, we're really trying to shake loose the leads. A high majority of their leads are no good. Everyone wants to say, oh, I'm just going to contact a company. They're going to move my pet across country. It's all going to be great, until they find out it's going to be between $900 and $1,500 depending upon how big your pet is. And there's a bunch of other factors, and then nobody wants to do it. So of all the leads that they get in, a whole bunch of them waste time getting on the phone call. Pet owners love to talk about their pets. It kills a lot of time. So this was designed to sort of shake the tree loose. They get some information. If we get all the information on the pet, and again, here we have a pet summary. This was their legacy method of storing stuff. They could only store 3 pets. I added it so that we had a nice table here. You can click through to any given pet and see the pet. This is allowing me to have much more specific data. This allows me to have calculations that say, this pet is going to go into a 200 size crate. Based upon that, my cost is going to be this. And it allows me, using a pricing table that can be changed, allows me to generate this guesstimate of the quote price. First pet always costs you a lot more than the second pets. And then I can kick this out with a bunch of buttons that literally, yes, I want to go, no, I'm not interested, a little more marketing information, and then they know how to go. Everything in this case is, and I'm going to be totally out of time. Wow, that goes quick. Allows them to see what is hot by looking at some flag alerts. They can see what they need to deal with. So they have 28 active alerts at the moment that they need to deal with. And I'm going to skip my last one here because I'm totally out of time.
Joel, you have so much interesting stuff you work on. It's always something different every time we talk. I do have to give one prop. I don't know if anybody noticed this, but the successful use of the bird icon in an installation. Yes. I've seen it for years, still have not been able to correctly apply it anywhere. So first time I've seen that. Hats off there. Boy Scout solution was very interesting. Wonderful that you were able to bring that into a paperless solution to be able to continue. I mean, that's very important. There's scholarships and stuff tied to that. So it was a very important solution that you provided.
Yeah, and Right Signature is a big part of that, obviously, as well, because it's allowing everything to be signed digitally.
Fantastic. Joel, thank you so much. Joel, you will be back at the end to give us your opinion. I think we got you in our editorial slot. So we will see you once again. Private Guru, they can reach you. What website? Where can they?
It's privateguru.net, or you can email me at privateguru.net, and that will get to me, or find me in any of the forums where I can be found haunting around.
Cannot miss you, Joel. You are everywhere in the forums, and if you've ever had a bug and it goes away, it was probably Joel that found it and got it eliminated. So via the
staff. And let me just say also, if you are, we do on the United States time frame, but at around this time. Once a month, we do a Podio Partners Zoom, and I know it's a little bit of a stretch for those of you overseas, but you're certainly welcome if you're up and around at this time. Once a month, it's generally the first Wednesday at 9:30 Pacific time. But if you want to get on that list, by all means, reach out, and I'd love to have more people participate.